Glenn Branca was an American guitarist from Pennsylvania. Well, actually, he was better known as an avant-garde composer and creator of unique musical instruments. He was considered to be a driving force behind no wave, totalism, and noise rock. I counted 16 albums on Wikipedia, several of which are symphonies, and he died in 2018. Hi, my name's Dan. This was Glenn Branca's first studio album, and it's my first encounter with him. I had no idea what to expect. I don't think that the album cover gave me much of an idea, to be honest. So here we are. I would describe it as being experimental instrumental music. There are apparently here 4 electric guitars and bass and drums. And I think the kind of dominant elements here are drone and kind of noise isn't quite the right word, but it's kind of verging on noise rock at times. It's definitely experimental. It's not all musical. Some of it is discordant. Some of it is using very strange intervals between notes, but there's a particular focus here on having multiple guitars playing the same thing. Now, apparently, later in his career, he wrote a symphony for 100 electric guitars. This one, there's only 4 in here. At times, there's some quite frenetic drumming. There was one track in particular that reminded me a bit of Boredoms. And what I was going to say about it, it feels kind of big and mushy. It's kind of got a feeling of a continuum. It's also kind of long and slow developing stuff. So it's about setting up a sound and then making some changes to that sound as time goes on. And it's definitely experimental. I think that the track called The Ascension is probably the one that's the most musical out of all the tracks. Excuse me, I'm not laughing, I'm trying not to cough. And the track Light Field may be my favourite, which is the one that reminded me most of Boredoms. Definitely, I would say this is an album for people who like unusual music, who like things that are experimental. It's kind of somewhere in the space between some of the experimental avant-garde ends of pop and rock and the kind of contemporary classical world, and it kind of sits in both worlds somewhat. And I know we're 400-odd albums into this series. I have finally made a decision about something, which is that the score that I give at the end is going to be mostly representative, not of, in some ways, the qualities that I think it's got, but how much I enjoyed it. Okay. And so that begs a question. Did I enjoy it? A bit. It's interesting. It's mildly pleasant at times. I really wouldn't want to go to a concert of this music. It's okay to kind of stick on in the background and do stuff too, especially if I'm feeling in a bit of a kind of mood where I don't need things to be too normal in terms of music stuff. So I wasn't hugely engaged with it, I have to say. So that's what I think. I know some people will think that this is an absolute genius album, and if you're one of those people, I'd love to hear from you. But from anybody else, whatever opinion you've got of this album, don't be shy. Please talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.